All right, well, welcome everybody. Good morning. I'm glad to be here with you. My name is John Torres. I want to welcome you to February's Catalyst. Catalyst is a monthly gathering of Stanislaus County sector leaders, conveners, collaborators, all that kind of stuff. And so we're glad to have you. Super excited to have you here. Again, my name is John Torres. I work for City Ministry Network. Oh, I didn't wear my shirt, but okay, that. Somewhere. Where are we at? I don't even have a... Anyways, I work for City Ministry Network. I am the program manager of the Latino Leadership Initiative. Yeah, let's go. Come on. Man, don't encourage me. I won't stop talking if you do that. So the purpose of Catalyst is a place of community conversation, right, where we can talk, connect, talk about things that matter. This is a safe space to explore different issues and face things in our community together as a group. And we are a diverse group of people, right, with different perspectives, difference of opinions, things like that. But man, to choose and sit together and work together and collaborate together is something that we just love. And so we're super glad you're here. Our hope today is that you will connect with others, your vision, your passion. You will begin to build trust and relationship amongst each other, which we really look forward to. And that hopefully the work that we do together will impact our community and benefit everybody in our communities that we want to work with together. So if you're joining us on Facebook, I'm pointing to the, I don't know, what is that, camera? Like and subscribe. I don't know if that's what it is, but do those things, right? Instagram, I don't know, smash that like button. I don't know what it is. They say that on those social media things. I don't know. So if you can check in, let us know, that kind of stuff, and join us that way, that'd be awesome. Also on your tables, there's some sign-in sheets. If you could fill those out for us, we just want to know that you're here. We like to take roll or inventory just to see how things are going. And so yeah, please, if you could fill that information out for us, that would be awesome. And then not lastly, but definitely towards the end here. Oh, there it is. That's me. If we want to sponsor, or we want to highlight one of our sponsors. So Valley First Credit Union, they are a huge sponsor for us, and their mission statement is working together to provide superior service for their members and our community. So thank you so much, Valley First Credit Union, for supporting us. We really appreciate that. Yeah, give it up. Give it up for Valley First. Nice. All right, I'll draw you guys back in. Come on in, have a seat. I will remind you guys, if you are new here, or even if you've been here before, if you could fill in that paper up front with your name and just your contact, your email, I believe, that'd be awesome. So I want to say this. Mike had asked me not too long ago to, man, you guys are going after it. I love it. Keep talking. I know. I don't want to shut you guys up, but shut up. I'm just playing. I'm just playing, but no, I'm not. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Can you hear me clap once?
Yeah, there you go. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. What am I, kindergarten teacher? Dude, that's crazy. Let's turn off the lights and turn them back on and stuff. No, that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I don't mean to shame you. Sorry, I joke like that. But no, that's awesome. The fact that you guys won't shut the heck up. No, just kidding. The fact that you guys will keep talking, it's an awesome thing. So I just wanted to say I was asked to facilitate this or host it, and I was really excited. So this lady has been really cool, and I've really had she just made me feel really comfortable and like allowed me to be myself and encouraged me in myself. So I just wanted to say that out the gate.
You're talking about me?
Yeah, you. And so, sorry, it was a cliffhanger. I'm trying to M. Night Shyamalan it over here. Come on, don't ruin it for me. No, I'm just kidding. So I just wanted to say that, and then I'll be official with her introduction. But I really have appreciated her friendship and just being able to connect with her and stuff. So that's been cool. So, I'm going to start crying. I'm going to get all foot clamped. I won't read it all. I cut some stuff, but there's a lot to read. So no, I won't. So, but I do want to honor you. So Marian Kaanon is the president and CEO of Stanislaus Community Foundation, a first-generation Assyrian American. Marian was born in Iraq. She immigrated here with her family to Canada at age 7, and then the U.S. as a high school student. After graduating UC Davis, Marian began a career that spanned broadcasting, journalism, public affairs, and nonprofit management. Marian joined the Stanislaus Community Foundation as CEO in late 2012. This was the one I thought was awesome. During her tenure, Stanislaus Community Foundation has quadrupled its assets under management and tripled its grant making. Triple it. Stanislaus Community Foundation leads initiatives and supports programs in education, economic opportunity, and civic engagement. So if you can give it up for my friend, Marian Kaanon.
I'm so nervous, you guys. The mayor's here. Hi, Mayor. Hi, Sue. She likes Sue. Hi, Sue. Everybody, it's so nice to see all of you. I don't know if about you guys. I feel the energy in this room. Do you feel the energy in this room? It's been a long time since I felt this kind of energy. So this is like a bomb for me. So thank you for that. As John mentioned, he mentioned my story, but I want to give you sort of a deeper layer that we were even talking about here, and that really pertains, I think, to what I want to share with you today, and this idea of individualism, tribalism, and beloved community, and where we find ourselves in. I want to ground ourselves in this moment. I don't think everything I'm going to say is going to be heartening, but I do think there's a lot of work for us to do, and a lot of it is actually hopeful. So we'll get there. But yes, I was born in Baghdad. I led a fairly nomadic existence. What you didn't hear is between the time we left Iraq at age 5, we went to London, then Athens, then Canada over 2 years. In Canada, we were there for 8 years. We lived in probably 10 different homes. That sort of natural as refugees we were in a basement, helped by a church. Then we went to a duplex, then we went to a townhouse, then we went to a house, then we bought a house. So there was a lot of movement, a lot of different schools. That's where I learned to speak English, went to Catholic church. It was an interesting time. And I think being a Syrian, it's a very tribal culture. When you introduce yourself, they ask you, what tribe do you belong to? And within that tribe, there are houses. And within those houses, there are families. And so it's all sort of mapped out. So when you identify yourself, you identify your belonging and your place in that culture, and people immediately subscribe to that tribe, village, tribe, house, and family attributes. So it's a very interesting thing. So you're immediately cataloged. And that is both carries challenges, because some of the attributes are not positive. My tribe is the angry tribe. Believe it or not, no, seriously. Historically, we were the ones that protected the villages. But it also gives you a sense of belonging, right? And identity. And so those are the things that can be positive if used for positive things. And so I just wanted to build on that because that's my own personal story. I want to quickly trace us through, there are many reasons why we find ourselves where we are as a country today. I took one thread and just pulled it through. And again, there are economic reasons, there's many, many reasons, cultural. But I want to talk today about where we are as a country. I think we can all agree that regardless of political ideology, we've never been in this place before. We've never been in a more divided, polarized, cynical place before, where I don't even think, and I'm maybe not talking about the majority of this room, but I know the minute you step out of this room, even in my own family, we can't seem to agree on what our highest ideals are. We can't seem to agree on empathy and who we have it for. Because the minute you step into empathy, someone else calls you a name or says, no, not those people. We shouldn't help those people. We shouldn't protect those people. So that's an interesting space to be in. It's a very cynical place to be in. We've also statistically never been lonelier, more stressed. So in addition to the division and all of that, we're also lonely, we're stressed. And every public health data point points to this, right? So it's even a health crisis, a mental health crisis. So I've been thinking about rugged individualism and sort of the roots of this country and why we frankly came here. My family immigrated here, is this sense that it's a wide open playing field, the wide frontier, whether that was physical when this country was founded, but now it was a mental construct also, that you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Self-reliance, right? That whatever you think you can do, you can. And in fact, that Cartesian split that happened, I think, therefore I am, is very much rooted in this idea, okay? Protestant ethics. Nothing wrong with this, but it's a false premise. Because we know the wide open frontier had indigenous people already living on it, right? we know that there was slave labor that allowed for some people to actually be able to rise themselves up by the bootstraps. So this was fraught with fallacy in some ways. So I think this is not a political statement, it's not a woke statement, it's just the reality of that time. Okay, so we have to reckon with that. And I don't know that as a country we're comfortable with reckoning. So I just wanted to put that out there. So individualism, again, fraught with fallacy, but partly true, right? It's kind of, sort of, okay? Like all things. What happened then is this country begins to form itself. What forms itself? Capitalism. Some good, some really good. This is why we came here. But also the global economy, automation, right? Corporations, corporate citizens. You were no longer just an individual that could actually pull your own self up by the bootstraps. You went to work in a company. That company got bought by another company. That company became a multinational conglomerate. Your economic mobility was no longer tied to your individual effort. It was tied to the hours you showed up and you put in and the pension you could rely on. That slowly eroded. Those institutions became more powerful. Our government became more powerful. And inequality, which is one thing I think we can all agree on, has widened. 3 men in this country own more wealth than 150 million Americans. Like, just sit with that. That's just a fact. Again, it's not a statement of, we work in philanthropy. We work with high net worth individuals that have the hugest hearts and are giving back. And so I just want to name also the systems we're in, okay, that keep us connected to this. But great wealth was created in the early 1900s with the Industrial Revolution, and incredible inequality was created at the same time, okay? And that has widened. So it went from individualism into this sense of, okay, now I'm in this system, I'm working hard, I can't seem to get ahead. For the first time in this country, in the last 20 years, a child born in this country will likely not supersede his parents' wealth. So prior to the last 20 years, a child would be born and they would likely go to school, get an education, and actually become wealthier than their parents, would have a home faster, would be able to build their wealth faster. That no longer is possible. Many of our children can't afford their own homes. They don't have access to health care. So just naming some, these are data points, and I'm happy to give them to you, but I wanted to not bore you with data and strike your emotional center instead. So income inequality was created, okay? And so when individuals no longer have a sense of their own individual autonomy and ability to generate their life and their meaning and their purpose and move ahead, what happens? They look for new sources of meaning, belonging, and moral clarity. And that's how we got to here. And this is where we are today, where it's no longer about how we might shape this country, how we might shape our individual futures. It's some people have taken that away from me. So when individual identity becomes insufficient or fragile, people seek protection, they seek recognition, and they seek moral validation. And they seek it in the form of being against other people, okay? So they seek what I would say narrower moral tribes. So they organize themselves around race, gender, ideology, or culture. And that's what you see happening today. This is not, again, a political statement. I'm just naming the reality of what we find ourselves in. So we get to this place of tribalism, and not tribalism in the way that, let's say, my Assyrian family subscribes to tribalism, but a tribalism that's really deeply cynical and distrustful of its fellow Americans. It's a really dangerous place to be when we don't have a shared reality. We could go out into the street and see something happen to somebody, and we will debate why it happened. We won't even talk about the inhumanity of what happened. We will be debating around the edges. That is a really dangerous place for a democracy to be, okay? And I'm just, again, cynicism, distrust, no shared reality. So when I was talking about ideals, that's a hard thing to get to when you don't agree on the facts, okay? So some things that led to this, right? This is just what happens to civilizations. They go through these cycles. So I would love to say we're special or we're not special. There's a 250-year life cycle to every civilization. We're about to hit our 250-year anniversary. Most civilizations go through this period of decay towards that 250-year. And again, anybody that wants data around this, I will send you links and data and articles, because we spent a lot of time thinking about these things, okay? But what really sped up the cynicism and distrust, 2008 recession. A lot of people lost the wealth they had in their home. A lot of people were underwater on their home. They, for all sorts of reasons. Banks got bailed out. People did not. People lost their retirements, their wealth. So this sense of like, no one's coming to save me, or who's being saved, or this sense of not, again, being helped out at all. This loneliness was also further exacerbated by the 2020 pandemic. All of a sudden we were in our homes. All of a sudden, is there a virus? Should we wear a mask? Should we get vaccinated? All of that became politicized. All of that. So a public health crisis, I remember the first week or two of the pandemic, there was so much solidarity. We were working with Jeff and Loveman, we were getting like information out. Marvin was getting the churches together. We were like, stay home. We were delivering food to seniors. We were just all in this together. That sense quickly eroded. It really did. And again, there were political aspects of the pandemic. I'm not saying that some of the things, the schools should maybe not have been shut down that long. I absolutely agree. So there's nuance here, you guys. Like any part of you, it's like, gosh, she's really subscribing to one theory. We have to like sit in nuance with all this stuff. That's what we're missing also in this country is the nuance that occurs in the middle place. So the 2020 pandemic really hastened that sort of sense of isolation, loneliness, cynicism, distrust. Rise of social media. Man, oh man. Most people receive their information on TikTok. That's a problem. Because there's also all sorts of, I think you all are beginning to understand why social media can be so problematic as an information resource. But a lot of people now burrow into their ideological sort of wormholes versus kind of nuance, scaling back, understanding the larger thing. Remember the times we'd sit and read the paper, long-form journalism, understanding all aspects of a situation, understanding what's happening in our community. A lot of that now is quick bites, 30 seconds. You've got my attention, it's highly charged, emotional, and then you move on to a cat. And then this thing's falling apart. And then there's a dog dancing in the street. And then there's AI. And then you have politicized journalism on all sides, by the way, all sides. This isn't just like right wing, left wing. There's a political bent to the way we receive our information, all of that leading. So now, okay, let's just sit with that for a minute, and I want you to read this slide. And let your body center for a minute. I know I've activated you. I'm feeling activated when I think about where we are. So this is MLK, this famous quote from him. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. So what I love about this, inescapable, what is not up for discussion is our fates are linked. The mutuality. Where you go, I go. So the Community Foundation has always operated from this premise. If Jacob's not successful, we're not successful. It doesn't matter if we quadrupled our assets and tripled our giving. Okay, that's nice, that's awesome. But if Jacob's not succeeding, if Maria's not succeeding, if Joanne's not succeeding, we are not succeeding, no matter what we do. Our fates are linked. Our fates are linked. And so I love this, mutuality. What an interesting word. What an interesting word, that what you do for me and what I do for you benefits us all. There's no way you could peel this back into individual parts. So the questions. How do we balance individual dignity, which is so inherent, right? So inherent. We are all born with dignity, with a shared responsibility in a fast-moving, deconstructing society. What is our individual work? Every single one of us to be embodied humans for this time. What is our collective work to build a beloved community? I don't have the answers to these questions. You're like, oh, she's good. I don't know. These are heavy questions, and they're open-ended for a purpose, okay? Because this is our life's work. So, there's a deeper thing beneath these three questions, which is the hunger we are all born with as humans is to find belonging, to find purpose, and to make meaning. A well-lived life is not a life of material comfort. It is a life that is an endless pursuit and acknowledgement and embodiment of these things, right? Belonging, purpose, and meaning. So there's a new book out. It's raised to the top of the charts, which is awesome. There's a hunger for this called Mattering, The Secret to a Life of Deep Connection and Purpose. The kind of community I want to live in is right here, where are there so many people bound up in this garment. We have such thick connections between us. And I want to name that the people in this room have like 3,000 ways in which we're all connected to each other, and there's a lot of people in this community that don't have that. A lot. Okay? And there are other very insular, beautiful communities that we need to connect to each other. And I'm thinking about our Latino community, our Black community, our Assyrian community, our Hmong community, all the people in this community that, yes, they have their own rich community. So I don't want to just name the one that we have here because it's a specific one. There are many, and how do we create even more coherence between all of them? Belonging, purpose, and meaning. That is the deeper hunger I think we're all in pursuit of. Let me go back. So, when we talk about, rugged individualism, what is maybe another version of that? A truer version of that, right? Embodied and loving people. Embodied and loving people. What does it take, right? Inner work. I went on a sabbatical earlier this year. It sucked. No, I'm kidding. I mean, there were times where I was like, what the hell? Why am I sitting here? It's 2 p.m. What am I doing? Why am I? My kids are driving me crazy. I just want to go back. Clive, take me back. There were moments where I was like, I understood what it was like to live in this community and be deeply disconnected to anything. It was the weirdest thing, you guys. I had no idea what was happening because I can't read it in the paper anymore. And if I open my social, it's a horror show in socials, on the social media. But I know now what the experience of a lot of people that live in our community is, to be deeply disconnected. But I went on a silent retreat in Montecito, so it was really nice. But I didn't talk for 3 days, prayed for 3 days, meditated, and just couldn't read, no reading, no inputs, just silence. Something fascinating happens when you sit with yourself in silence. Because silence has a presence. It's not an absence. There's a spirit. I felt the Holy Spirit, and I'm just like, again, based on my the religious sort of background, but there's a silence that is beyond words, that is much bigger than all of us, that ties us all together. And when you feel it, you can't ever unfeel it. You can never unfeel it. So whatever it takes for you to sit with yourself, whatever that is, and it's super hard, you guys. I struggle every day. Whether that's meditation, your place of belonging, your place of worship, spiritual work, whatever modality works for you, walking, running, whatever that may be, petting your dog, your cat, journaling, getting your thoughts out. So embodied, loving people do the inner work, soul work. You know what's I'll get to it. There's something I'm headed to here, but okay. Accountability, direct communication, conflict resolution, healthy boundaries, healthy relationships, okay? We can only be of service to each other if we are of service to those that are closest to us, that love us the most, that we go home to after these speeches and the fancy awards, right? So how do we exercise that? okay? Direct communication, loving communication, conflict resolution, boundaries, physical health, movement, taking care of yourself, nature, spending time in nature where silence abounds, rest, deep rest, no phones, resting, sleeping, napping. I love me a good afternoon nap in a cold room when it's hot outside. It's the best. But embodying love, doing the things to individually take care of ourselves. Antidote to individualism is sensing the connection and knowing that the only sin is the sin of separation, that we actually think we're separate of each other. So embodied and loving people, leading to a beloved community, moving through a beloved community. Imagine that. Embodied and loving people that have done their work as best they can. I'm still an asshole most days, I'm gonna name that. But doing the work, coming back to my center. Okay, Marianne, are you coming from the self of you that's the higher self, or are you really like petty right here and just grinding this axe, right? And we always know the answer to that question. Sometimes I choose that one and I have to go back and pick the better self, right? But embodied people working on themselves, finding the connection to their internal soul, their higher self, moving through a beloved community, the antidote to tribalism. So there's individualism, there's a embodied being, there's tribalism, and there's beloved community. Can we make the transition to that? That's where I want to be, both as an embodied person and living in a beloved community. A beloved community. This is where the Community Foundation spends a lot of our time with our board. This is where we spend a lot of our time thinking about these things. We don't always agree on how we're going to get here, I would say, as a board and as staff, but this is what we spend a lot of our time thinking about, shaping. By the way, not on our own, not sitting in our little conference room, working with all of you, working with our nonprofits, working with our leaders, all of you. So, beloved community has civic practices, they have civic rituals. And I don't just mean this kind of space. I mean sitting out at MYSA at Mary Grogan Park with all the other soccer parents in our little chairs cheering on our kids. I don't know what these people's political ideologies are, but in this moment, we're all here for our kids and there is community here, right? I'm talking about service clubs, Rotary, Kiwanis, Elks, Seroptimus, okay? Civic spaces, parks, trails, downtown. I'm so excited that the Virginia Corridor, thank you, Mayor, is now going up across Sylvan, and we can walk over Sylvan and get to my house, and I'm gonna walk all the way downtown and drink beers, okay, with Amanda, and it's gonna go all the way down, and I love that. I love the trails, the ways in which physically we can connect to each other, the parks, our downtown. We gotta revitalize our downtown, y'all. It kind of went sideways after the pandemic, so that's another thing we gotta be thinking about. I mentioned the service clubs, all the ways in which people belong and serve and make meaning. Kids sports, I mentioned, mutual aid groups. There's an invisible thread that moves through this community in the form of our churches and the ways in which they serve, in the form of love Modesto, love Stanislaus. That is love made visible right there. All the ways in which we serve each other through mutual aid. Civic stories. What is the story of us? We're going to host a workshop. Maria and I have been working on this later this year with Amika, and there's this gentleman named Daryl Holiday. He created a nonprofit organization that spread across the country called Documenters. He now lives in California. He's going to lead a workshop, and Documenters is a group, they train average people, normal people, to go to public meetings and write down in everyday language, not in government language, what's happening in that meeting, and then they upload it to a site where the rest of the community can understand, this is what happened in your city council meeting today. So he created this incredible nonprofit that's armed like citizen journalists with the ability to go and report out on what's happening in public agencies. So he's going to come here to Modesto and work with a lot of people that are trying to create content, influence things, trying to get away from ideological, politicized media. How do you talk about this community? What are the facts? What are the stories? What's the larger narrative? What do we talk about when we talk about our community? Do we focus on the negative? Do we also talk about all the bright spots? Because there are so many. What aspirations are still possible? What is still possible for us? Do we subscribe to the local news? There is a new nonprofit newsroom. I just want to point out, I'm looking at Kate, Modesto Focus. please subscribe, click and subscribe. Whatever John said, hit that smash button. But that's a new nonprofit newsroom that we've helped fund called the Modesto Focus. But the Modesto Bee, the Modesto View, just all of it, right? Are you listening to the local news? Are you watching it? Share positive information. I went to a journalism philanthropy summit, Melissa and I, in LA last week, and Maria Ressa, who's a Filipino journalist that was accused, she had 11 criminal counts because she basically was reporting on the dictator in the Philippines at the time. 11 criminal counts. She was cleared of 10. She's still waiting trial for the 11th. She talked about, she won the Nobel Peace Prize. Sorry, I buried the lead. She won the Nobel Peace Prize. Incredible human being. I sat next to her at dinner. She said lies are viral. Lies spread 6 times faster than the truth online. But guess what spreads even more viral than the lies? So lies are 6 times faster than the truth. Inspirational stories spread 100 times faster than the lies. And think about it, when we've got the dancing dog or the thing that brings tears to your eyes and makes you laugh at the same time, I'm sharing it out with everybody I know. So share good news. Share good news. It does matter. Change the algorithm. Bend it towards positivity. Civic service. Join a group. Any group. This group. Any group. Volunteer. Volunteer. I'm giving you lots of shout outs. Okay? Volunteer for Love Stanislaus. Every nonprofit has volunteer opportunities. So look at those. Learn. I went and spoke to the MJC lifelong learning people. They're incredible. They're doing all sorts of things. You want to learn how to weave and grow your own fruit and vegetables. Lifelong learning. Become a student. No, it's never too late. Join a public commission. Our city, our counties, they all need service from us. They all need our voice. Join any commission, any board, right? Any public sort of way for you to pitch in. Run for office. Run for office. That's also in this time. We need more civil servants. Some of the work the Community Foundation is doing, is around these spaces, right? So Next Gen on board, we take young leaders, place them on 2-year terms on nonprofit boards. I know many of you have participated in this. Akia, were you a Next Gen fellow? Yes. Next level leaders, we take young mid-level managers and nonprofits, trying to coach them through how do they step into more authority and power in their nonprofits. Cohorts and communities of practice, we're always studying different issues through a sort of collaborative, community-centered way. Nonprofits, we have a sabbatical program to give our nonprofits rest. Succession planning, what's the next generation of our nonprofit leaders? Where are they going to come from, and how do we make space for that? We have various workshops and trainings. All of this is through the Porges Nonprofit Initiative. Some of the issues we're focused on: healthcare, economic mobility, housing, education, civic life, community news, community information. So a lot of this stuff is our daily work at the Community Foundation. But what I really want to, let me see here, let me go back. So I want to end with this. We made the move from rugged individualism to embodied beings, from tribalism to beloved community. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're entering a very perilous time. It's not going to be solved in one election cycle or one news cycle. Maria Ressa, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, said, if you do not recognize your place in our democracy and begin to act to save it, it will take a minimum of 40 years to get it back. Those 40 years will be very dark, very, very dark. She also said, never underestimate in that darkness the power we all have as individuals to be the light. No one knows, it's not 51%, this isn't votes, no one knows how many people, once they get light inside them and spark it, it takes to start to change. No one knows in the Middle Ages how it led to the Renaissance in terms of the number. So don't focus on the number. Don't focus on majority, minority, us, them. We're thinking in the wrong way. Do the work internally. And then that infects the next person. Just like our cynicism has infected people, the light can infect people too. So yes, will I say we are entering at least a decade of despair, at minimum, Societal decay, collapse of certain institutions, rising cynicism, rising inequality, which is already there. AI will change a lot of things. Climate disasters will certainly get faster and faster. I'm naming things, you guys, that are just happening. They're happening, we're seeing them, they're going to get faster, greater velocity and speed. Never underestimate in all of those seemingly huge sea forces the power each of you individually has to anchor the light. When we are in the darkness, we are the closest to creation. Think about that. In the darkness, we're actually have never been closer to creation. The question I have for you is, how do we recreate our beloved community? How do we do that individually? So I'll end with this. The Cartesian split, I think, therefore I am. I think the new mantra for us is I love and therefore I become. I love and therefore I belong. So this is about the connection we all have with each other and how we anchor our own lights. And with that, I thank you. Love you.
Me too.
Awesome. I'm grateful to be a part of this tribe, right? We're different houses, but it's cool to be a part of this tribe. All right, so let's start with some table talks. Can we give it up one more time for Marian? That was awesome, actually. Sorry. Not to embarrass you, but that was great. So we're going to slide into some more table talks and talk around your tables. So we've got a couple of questions for you, right? So what statistic, story, or idea stood out to you most from the presentation, and why do you think it resonated? And also, if beloved community had a smell, sound, or a vibe, what would it be? If beloved community, that's a good one. That's a really, was that you, Mike? Man, that is saucy right there. Boy, I'm thinking like s'mores cookies maybe or something, I don't know. Anyways, go ahead and have that conversation. I'll draw you guys back. We got about 7 minutes. So enjoy, keep talking. All right, let me bring you guys on back if I can. Go ahead and wrap that conversation up. Let's sit in nuance, huh? Ooh, that worked. Wow. I didn't spell it right for sure. So, all right. Well, I do want to mention just one thing really quick. David Collins had mentioned it last week or last month, and I thought it was really inspiring or encouraging. We did change locations. I know that happened. We used to have a bigger room. Now we have a smaller one. But I think what he had said, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is the room isn't what it's about. It's about what we're doing inside the room. And so, again, ties into the tribal stuff, ties into the doing things together, and just really cool. So I really appreciated that call out. And because sometimes you're like, hey man, that paint looks weird. And what's up with these bricks? I don't know how houses work, or anyways. So I'm gonna invite you to a couple things, and I'm gonna bring Marvin on up. So we'd love for you to join us at March's Catalyst. We are gonna surprise you with what that topic is, but that's gonna be March 5th, right? So please join us again. We'd love to have you. It's been awesome to be with you. And then we have a crab feed coming up. So we wanna selfishly promote ourselves. So crab feed, we have a blast. Crab, if you don't like crab or you don't do shellfish, that's fine. We have tri-tip. This is my best Vanna White, guys. Okay? And then pasta, salad, bread. It's going to be a good time. I host it, and so sometimes it gets a little squirrely. That might be enjoyable just in itself. So we'd love to have you, man. It's one of we only do two fundraisers. That's one of them. It's a pretty fun night. It's more of a fundraiser than it is a fund-raiser. Come on, preaching up here. All right, so come join us for that. That'd be great. I'm going to invite Marvin on up, and he's going to close us out.
Thanks, and thanks, Marian. There was, in history, a letter was written to this city that was crazy, and all kinds of different, oh, by the way, if you look around the room, this is America. Look at us. Different people, different backgrounds, different perspectives. I don't know if I want to say that to you. I said that first time I was with my Medessa junior college student. This is America. Look at you. There was this crazy city, and people didn't seem to get along with each other. They were arguing with each other. There was competition. It was just crazy. It was really chaos. And so one of the wise sages wrote them a letter and wanted to talk to them about what love actually looked like. And so this is going to give you just an overview of what he wrote to them so that they can begin to be a catalyst for what it meant to show love to all kinds of different types of people. This gentleman writes, love shows up with patience and kindness. Love treats people with respect. Love does not excuse harm or celebrate what is wrong. Love stays when things get hard. Love outlasts everything else. And this crazy gentleman wrote a letter to a Greek city and talked about what it meant to actually show love to all kinds of different types of people. We called this Catalyst, and we did from the beginning. I think, I can be confident, Wayne Bridegroom, he's been at everything from the beginning. In the back of Perkos. And we call this Catalyst because this is what, we wanted this to be a catalyst, first of all, to care for you who are influencers. As Marian mentioned, change and health first begins with you. And we wanted to invest in you, Catalyst investing in you. And not just so it would stop with you, but all of you are leaders of circles of influence. And all of you are smaller numbers, others you larger numbers. But I think she mentioned 3,000, but there are really, one time we did an estimate of about 10,000 people that you all influence. You walk out of here and you become now a catalyst in your circle of influence. Now, our city and our county, there are so many needs and so many problems and so many strengths and so much. And then also you jump on some of the stuff that's going around the country, but this is it. You can be a catalyst, first of all, to take care of yourself so that you're a healthy human being. And then second of all, you can be a catalyst in your little circle. Most of you don't know this, but I've stopped talking for me personally about state. And I'm thinking, what are we going to do here in our community so that we reflect the beloved community? The Old Testament used to calls it shalom, where all of us together thrive together. But it only starts when it starts with you. Now the Apostle Paul, or Saul of Tarsus, wrote that letter to a crazy city in Corinth, Greece. But he began to reflect to us what love looks like. And I want to encourage us to be a catalyst. I want to encourage you to be a catalyst. First of all, take care of yourself. I struggle, and those of you close to me know, I begin to struggle with bitterness. I get all teary-eyed. When Gloria Marr mentioned, I got together with her a couple weeks ago, right, at the big shop, and she said, I'm brokenhearted. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if she remembered, but oh my gosh, that is it. That's what it is, because I grew up angry and bitter, and you said pissed off, so I can say that. And John said another word, but I'll change it. We'll talk about it. But I just become brokenhearted about how we just are treating each other. But it only starts with me by continuing to limit what I'm listening to, what goes in my ears and what goes in my eyes. I just have had to limit, because I'm becoming those people that I don't want to be, becoming that. So how do I do that? Limiting what's happening in my ears, what's happening in my eyes. So that I still have love as a motivation. Because really there are only two base motivations, fear and love. Now you reflect what has been your motivation. And maybe some of this screaming and hollering, is that really love or is that really fear? I'd really like to have love be my deeper motivation. So I want to encourage you, catalyst. I want this to be, and we've always wanted this to be, we moved it to a smaller room because if you notice the energy in the room just being together. But to say this is that the beloved community begins right here. And you first care for yourself and in your little circle, and together we will begin to move to make this place an incredible place to grow up and grow old in for everybody. But that means you being a catalyst just around your little circle. Don't worry, well, I'm not going to say it this way. You can't pay attention always what's happening in other parts of the country or the world. You just can't. But make sure you do that here. I love you. Our catalyst here is really now Thursday morning, once a month, first Thursday, please. We struggle with whether we should do it at night or in the afternoon. And it was, should we have some sexy program? No, this is a...
You did today.
I did today. Seriously. For the first time in about 10 years, I've been mentoring high school boys. There's 7 of them. And you know the one thing they only want to talk about? That. Yes. Oh my gosh, we're talking about math. Look, first it's hilarious. They were just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make that shift. Yeah, I forget what I was saying. This happens to be a catalyst. Just be back, not for the sake of numbers. I don't care. I've never cared. Which doesn't help for donors. But I will say, let's care for each other. Let's be together. Let's be a catalyst to feed each other, challenge each other, replenish each other. Let's be with friends. And then we can go back out and do what we do.
Yep.
I'm going to pray like I always do, and then I'm going to let you hang around, okay? And we'll see you next month, Lord. Thanks for Marian and the courage that she has expressed to our community and to so many of us individually through the years. And I know, Lord, just like a human being, sometimes she's just afraid, and sometimes she's tired. But I thank you for her courage to get up in the mornings and we go back at it. And Lord, every one of these men and women, whatever their sphere of influence and whatever their interest is, so many of them are so tired. And when I heard the next 10 years of despair, or 40 years of, oh my gosh, it just was overwhelming. May the change start right in this room. By caring for each other, supporting each other, being friends with each other,